All right.
I just texted you.
I got you. I got you. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining today. It's a topic that all of us are dealing with constantly and making decisions on when and how to do or list or market or sell something that's not yet complete. And so we're going to kind of dig deep into some of the things that we do across the country at different neighborhoods and through at it. So we'll get through that pretty good, and we'll focus on a strategies to release new neighborhoods or new communities, as well as strategies to release a new spec home or inventory home that you may have. So I think will be helpful for both those type of environments. A little housekeeping first. On the screen right now, we have Cole's number. So if there's something wrong with audio or something wrong with video or something technical, just text him. Work out. He's right next to me, and also his email down below that you can reach us after the fact or during if we can get that done. Also, yes, thank you. Make sure that if you're watching to mute your mic, that way your background noise or anything that enters your office doesn't kind of impact everybody. I can always do it here as well. But if you do want to speak or you do have a question, unmute your mic and talk. I'm on Zoom all day long. Many of you guys maybe are or aren't familiar with it, but the audio is one of the things that kind of can get you. So we're going to dig into it. Again, the topic is how to represent and sell your homes before completion. It's the best case scenario for a builder or a developer. So from a marketing standpoint, we want to be great at that. We just don't want the universe to deliver a sale before completion. We want to kind of set ourselves up for success. As I go through this, again, I will send these slides out to you guys. So it's something that you'll be able to, as well as the recording. So you'll be able to share with your office, share with your team, or kind of reference back in the past. A question I always start, many of you guys that have been around me, I love this number, 43,500. Some of you all like to think that it's how many square feet there are in an acre, but that's not what this is. I'll give everybody a second to kind of pre-think what this number represents. But effectively, 43,500 is what they say, whomever the experts are, they are how many individual components go into making one home. And when you think of how complicated it is to build a home with all those moving parts, it's kind of mind blowing. It's mind blowing that homes are built sometimes in 90 days. So some of our production builders pump out homes in 90 to 100 days. That blows my mind. Others on the more custom home have craftsmen touching their homes. It takes sometimes over a year, maybe even a year and a half. But 43,500 individual components get kind of duct taped, screwed, nailed, everything attached together. And these homes last a lifetime. And it's incredible when you think about all that. And from a marketing standpoint, many of the people that I engage with have the kind of mindset, whoop, we're going the wrong way, of how in the world are we supposed to sell or represent something before completion that has all these parts, all these selections, all these luxury ingredients that are supposed to build value. How in the world are we supposed to bring this thing that's so complicated to the market before someone can see it, walk in it, and sample it? And so that's our mission as a marketing team or a sales team is how do we tell the story of all the ingredients that go in our neighborhoods, go in our homes before you can take photographs, before you can walk in it. So that's the challenge here. So we're going to talk about strategies and strategies on how do we bring all these elements to add value and add urgency before completion. So that's what we're getting into. So first, what are the benefits to the builders and the developers that we represent? It's most of them are fairly obvious, but it mitigates risk. If you can sell a home before completion, it maximizes your return because you're not having interest carry or uh-oh moments or price decreases or stagnation. So getting it out ahead of time is a big deal for us. Our goals and all of our sales teams we manage is let's not let a home reach completion without a buyer. that's not always attainable, especially in a headwind type market or a situation that we've got going on right now. But that's our goal. So the benefits to a building company or developer: mitigates risk, maximizes margin potentially, builds a following of kind of pent up demand. It's easier for us to build momentum. And let me tell you something. With momentum, we all know it. Anything is possible. So momentum is probably the key word here. Buyers love to be involved with things early. There's no better lesson than the stock market. We love insider information. And so why not look at your offering that's getting ready to happen if you're a salesperson, as I have something that only us insiders know about because the masses don't know about it yet. And it potentially allows for a client to get involved early enough that they can personalize their home. So there's a benefit to all of that before the builder gets too far down the line. But what about, this is what I hear from developers or salespeople around the country. But what if I don't know my final cost yet? How am I supposed to release this to the market? Or what about those days on the markets? I mean, I hate days on the market that climb or too large. How are we supposed to sell if I start my counter earlier than later? And our market doesn't work that way. Here, John, in Texas, it doesn't work that way. Or here, John, up in Vermont, it doesn't work that way. Or in Florida, we don't operate that way. I hear that all the time. Or the property will show better once it's clean and we can get photography. And we work with buyers, John, that are typically more immediate need. Well, look, all of this is true or could be true. But one of the things I'm going to ask you about anything that we do as a sales and marketing organization is to have an open mind. If you have an open mind, you'll be shocked what will happen when you go against these trends. The other thing I will warn about these statements right here that we hear all the time is that marketing a home or marketing a community or marketing a townhome or a home site, it doesn't mean listing it on the MLS. And that's what this tells me. These responses, when we come up with a plan to be aggressive early, and I get feedback or objections about why something like that wouldn't work, it's because the majority of that organization's sales and marketing presentation is to list it on the MLS. Okay? Listing something on the MLS is very important. The way you list it, when you list it, all very important. But does that mean that we can't get out ahead of an MLS listing ahead of time to do everything we just talked about? Build momentum, get demand, and heck, maybe even bring it to contract before it's listed in the MLS. So I want everyone's mindset to say, we need the MLS, but we're not singularly relying on it. And that is a very, very big shift of strategy and thinking for the majority of the people that we engage with. Listing a property is critically important, but so is all the other things that we do that we don't need the MLS to be part of. So that's the mindset I want everybody to think about. Prerequisites, we'll go through this real quick. The best in the business, whether something is listed, pre-sale, or completed, is that they are an absolute specialist. We don't go, if we are an athlete and we have something going on with our knee, we don't go to a family doctor. We don't go to a general practitioner. We go to a specialist. So whatever the property that your team is representing, that team needs to be specialists on it. They need to know dimensions, luxury features, options. Where do I go for the answers I can't get? They need to be absolute specialists. And that's one of the reasons why we have been around for almost 30 years. Because if we get an engagement, we have to become specialists at that to have success. We can't be a general practitioner. And too often, builders and developers give their sales and marketing responsibilities to a general broker, where this is one of their marketable properties. And so there's no way they can be a specialist. Be a specialist. Offer insider information versus what's available to all. I want my team to have something that's not yet out there in the universe that they have in their pocket. One of a kind attributes, last one remaining, expiring terms, whatever it is. That's only found if you engage with us. And by the way, off to the right, we're going to talk about it. Off to the right is what we feel like this curious interest engagement. This is what we feel like our buyers go through. Okay. So wherever they are entering it in, our most important part of this, our most important bubble is the third bubble down. It's engagement. If I get engagement, meaning if I engage with somebody, if I'm a specialist, then I can take them down my path. But it all needs to get to engagement. Number three, produce focused content from others and from you about the property's unique selling propositions or a unique message of the moment. If something's expiring, if something's coming up on a building timeline, we'll talk about that later. Timelines are very, very important to build urgency. A timeline of a home, a timeline of a community, where it is in the construction process. If it's known and communicated to the sales team, I can build urgency around every part of the timeline of a build or the timeline of a community. So that's very, very important. Down below, you see your personality and professionalism matter. I really believe people engage with people that they feel comfortable with. And if there's something on the screen or in text or on an email that doesn't flow with my personality, I don't even know about the property, but I'm not engaging with it. So you got to be personable. You got to be professional. You got to connect. I also love left brain, right brain stuff. Too often, all of our information that we do in marketing and sales is very rigid and statistical. Okay. And so what I mean by that is we lead with price per square footage. We lead with size. We lead with bedroom count. We lead with move-in dates, stats, stats, stats. And many times we forget that left brain, which is emotional. What could be in this home? Can you imagine entertaining in this backyard? Can you imagine having Thanksgiving in this oversized dining room, which by the way, larger dining rooms are coming back in vogue, especially for recreational investment or second home property, because that's where people gather. Okay. All these what could be should be part of your presentation, not just facts and figures and sticks and bricks. Okay. We also want to, whenever we're looking at a pre-sale, we don't just want to create communication patterns to our prospective customers. We also have to have unique language to our buyer agents, the brokers out there bringing our customers, and also past owners we've worked with so they know what we're up to and they can send their friends and families too. Okay. I love for brokers, their favorite radio station. Some of you that have been around me know what WWIFM, their favorite radio station. Brokers need to be led with what's in it for me. Okay. What's in it for me? Are you going to make me look professional in front of my clients? What am I going to be compensated? You know, when is this going to be done? How can I become an expert so I can look good in front of my client? What's in it for me? So those are three unique messages that we also want to get. And of course, lastly, any and all exposure engagement is productive and good. Okay. So what's your best call to action? So if the third bubble is the most important, engagement, like once I get to engagement, I'm cooking. But I've got to get that engagement. So what is an engagement? Engagement's a phone conversation, win. It's a text conversation, super big win. Email exchange, win. Showing, win. So if we get this mindset that if these 4 check marks get accomplished, my sales team's doing a good job. I mean, more times than not, I ask our sales teams, how many showings, how many tours did you do this week? Okay. Not how many sales, because I know that if they get people to engage with them one-on-one, not an e-blast, not a social media post, not hiding behind some corporate newsletter, but if I get a customer to engage with me, I can make a living off that. So engagements are everything. So we want strong call to actions to get engagements that give us the opportunity to be professionals. Until then, nothing's really working. All right, let's keep going. I got a lot to cover and we're already 15 minutes into it. Let's talk about strategies and case studies of how to release a new neighborhood. Okay. We see it all the time. We see a 4x8 sign up, new neighborhood coming, join our VIP list. You see these things from production builders, national home builders, and local builders. When they start a site plan, we start by putting up signage. And that's a great thing, right? But let's talk about how we can release a new neighborhood with excitement. Okay? The benefits of a whisper campaign or even a reservation program. You know, a reservation program was the vogue, then it went away, and it's kind of sort of back. And I love soft starts. I love reservation programs, which are essentially kind of, hey, let's just get to know each other, right? Let's just date right now. That's what a reservation program is. And for a lot of us, they're used for a lot of different reasons: to introduce a new section or offering to the market, to create intrigue about something that's going on over there in the woods or over there in that neighborhood. It creates an increased sense of urgency and pent-up demand. It allows for sales teams and the developer to kind of gauge interest. Remember, a reservation program is non-binding for both sides. When I say non-binding, it doesn't mean just money. It means time of when we're going to release it, time of when we're going to list it, time of when we're going to do the next part of it. So a reservation program is a great way to slow drip your way into saying, all right, let's go. It's a shame to do all that backstop, all that development, all that work in the quiet and the darkness of your office, get it done, and then say, let's go. What a wasted opportunity. So that's what a reservation program is to build excitement up to a particular time or moment that it's time to go. Okay. Allows for the sales team and the developer to gauge interest and focuses lead gen investment and marketing activity on a specific goal. Heck, for us, a specific goal could be, we're not going to go, quote, officially list this thing until we have X number of people in our database, or X number of reservations, or X number of people that have called in and said something. So it gives us a metric to measure to make us feel like we're ready to go to the next stop. So let's keep going down on this. The release key elements. I don't have all the information yet, or I'm sorry, as a salesperson, the easy response or the easy philosophy is, look, I don't have a lot of the answers yet, but if you're a reservation holder, you will be the first to know the details when they come from the architect, when they get approved by the agencies, when groundbreaking starts, when we know the selections inside. As those things start to happen, you're going to know them about everybody. And the cool thing about a reservation program, you can get on or off the highway with us as a customer anytime you want. Pricing doesn't work? Get out. No harm, no foul. You don't like the way the exterior looks? Get out. No harm, no foul. But more times than not, the idea behind it is to build a ravenous excitement around what could be. Okay. Let's see. Release key elements. Staged and dripped timeline of information. Oh gosh, that's a big one. We're going to talk about that in a second. Provides key customers insider information before a general release. People love that. Allows for easy entry of a program for casually interested parties. Look at that bubble off to the right. You may not be down at the bottom yet. You may still be just curious or just casually interested. Reservation program is perfect for those buyers. And oh, by the way, let's talk about this. Everything that we do from a philosophical sales organization involves treating people the way you would want to be treated, or the way you would want to treat your parents or family members. Honest, ethical, sincere. It's the way I would want to be treated in a sales environment. So all of this is completely sincere in its form, if you will. So I don't want you to think that salesmanship and building urgency has some sinister spin on it. It's actually opposite. It's treating people with respect all the way through the process. Okay. Flexibility is required from all parties, meaning the seller and the buyer and the buyer's agents. We're just dating here, nothing binding. That's what this is all about. The second to last bubble says respect for the program elements within the sales and development team is critical. There's nothing worse than setting up what your standards are going to be and having a rogue agent or a rogue builder change them midstream. Then it's bastardized. Then there's no value in following the plan. For example, if 3 or 4 people have expressed interest enough to do a reservation, and someone comes in at the end and buys it out from under them, there's no value in that reservation program. So it has to be respected. Reservation counts and maximum attendance matters to conversion success. I mean, we live in the social media world, which causes FOMO. So if I show up to an event and there's 3 of us, it's weird. If I show up to an event and there's 15 of us, there's a buzz. So we want to include in this reservation program good, bad, and ugly. Because here's something I know about good, bad, and ugly customers. People's lives change on a dime, don't they? How many times has a C lead ranked in your CRM turned to an A overnight because of a promotion or a new baby on the way or a divorce or a job relocation? People's lives change all the time, number one. Number two, I need warm bodies to create FOMO. I need more bodies to create urgency. So reservation counts and maximum attendance to whatever muddy boot tour or open house or whatever, they all matter. Benefits to the customer. Fully refundable, rewards the customers that engage earliest with the greatest selection. Let me tell you, we represent everything from first-time home builder, $230,000 homes in Alabama to massively $5 million and up luxury spec homes. Everybody benefits, including the richest people in the world, from having the greatest selection, right? Even if you gave me discounts, even if you gave me this or gave me that, if I have the largest pool to select from, that provides me a tremendous value. So rewards customers that engage earliest with the greatest selection. And that's key to this program. Allows for slow entry into decision-making and ownership. Doesn't cause pressure. Doesn't say if you don't sign right here, you're screwed. It allows people to kind of ease into this buying process. It provides all needed and required information prior to buying, but allows them to reserve their place in line. Look, I don't know how much the costs are. Developer hasn't released the pricing information. You won't be asked to buy until everything is provided for you, okay? In the meantime, get your place in line, protect it, and then we'll let you know as we get towards the finish line. Customers are encouraged to preview the property on their schedule before actual conversion event, okay? Anything that you do, any process you do should be super easy. Like anyone that's been around me, I love Volkswagen's Sign and Drive campaign they did. I don't know, maybe it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Volkswagens were not doing well in the car marketplace. They came out with Sign and Drive, okay? Sign and Drive made it seem like, look at what their ad looks like. 0 down payment, 0 security deposit, 0 first month's lease payment, 0 unit signing. Like what? It's that easy to buy a freaking car? No. We know you have to fill out paperwork. We know you have to get a credit application. We know you have to get approved. We know you have to pay for it. But the ease of entry is what Sign and Drive showed. And it absolutely turned their sales environment completely to a new level. So whatever program you're doing, whether it's a reservation program, straight to contract, it doesn't matter. But a development offering or a new community being offered has a lot of minutia to it. It has a lot of complex parts. It has a lot of signatures and contracts and addendums and DocuSign. But while we're moving people down our engagement funnel, it should be Sign and Drive easy. So let's not make these barriers. Like I can't stand builders that won't take a contract without a pre-approval letter. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like let's start treating people with a little bit more calmness and respect. Now, there may be times in the new construction world where we don't have enough inventory. I get it. And there's a lot of buyers. We're not there right now. And so let's make it easy to engage with us. Let's pull people along the process, get people emotionally connected where it sticks. Okay. Let's keep going down. If we were releasing a new property, this is a typical property release timeline for our agency or our sales team. 100 days out, we start permeating out into the world with our relationships, a whisper campaign. Ideally, it's something new is coming. Okay. 100 days out. We then turn on this thing that allows people to get into line, reservations. We then start dripping information. So maybe 7 days out, it's a map release with a plat overlay. Maybe a little later, it's videos. Maybe a little longer, you get some home information or pricing. So you're layering, you're layering, you're layering. And remember what I said earlier. At any point in this dance we're doing, people can get out. Like if they get to day 45 and pricing comes out and it's not in line with what they expect, they can get out. The idea with the drip of information is to build emotion, build excitement, build insert, like make them feel like they are on a ride. Now, also, you're assuming that the people that you're engaging with are interested in what you have. I think too many people, too many salespeople, we feel like because we deal with so many walk-ins and so many leads from social media or wherever that we've got to kiss a lot of frogs to engage with one person. And that's true. We got to kiss a lot of frogs to meet one prince. If you're getting someone down into the reservation program, they're close to a prince. They've given you permission to continuously provide them information. So the good thing about this is even if you have, let's go back to 100 days, even if you have everything that you need to know about buying the property, why release it all at once? Release it in drip. So let's look at what that looks like. Let's say we have a property. This is one in Tennessee that we have been working with for the last year. Okay. So if I had somebody casually interested in this property, which is outside of Knoxville, Tennessee, on a gorgeous lake called Norris Lake, you know there's going to be some excitement about what I just said. New development on the lake, Lake Norris, outside of Knoxville, just right there. Huh. There hasn't been a new neighborhood on Norris Lake in a long time. This seems intriguing. Yeah, Bob, I can send you what we've got, which is probably just kind of a black and white plat map site plan. I'm going to send this out to you. Take a look at it. We can even talk about it. You can see there's some docks down there at the bottom. You can see how the road layout, none of this is approved. This is kind of a first draft, but it gives you kind of an outline of what we're going to be doing. And oh, by the way, Bob, that one strip that goes left to right, those are ridges. So everything drops down, as you can see with the contour lines. So see what I did, guys? This is all I've given about this project to somebody casually interested. Okay. So follow me on this. Let's for the moment, let's pretend you were that person casually interested in this property. So go for this emotional ride with me. Huh, that's interesting. That looks kind of cool. Wait, what? For $500 or $1,000 or $100? I don't even care what it is. I can put, if I decided to buy 6 months from now or 3 months from now or whatever it is, I can have first pick or second pick depending on my reservation. All right, yeah, I'll send you over $250 and go for the ride. That sounds cool. All right, cool. I'll send you over the reservation agreement. And as we get more information for each week, Bob, I'll keep sending it to you first. Okay, great. So let's go for a ride. The next thing we do is we get out on site and we become the personality. We do some videos. It doesn't have to be professional. It could just be us on the land or us on the site or us at the entrance or us on a boat on Lake Norris. It could just be us. What am I doing? I'm adding some color. I'm adding some emotion, and I'm starting to showcase to my clients who I am. I'm a professional. I speak clearly. I'm not crazy. I'm just a regular person. I'm out here on a boat with my daughter. I'm walking the property. I tripped. I laughed. I'm a real human. It starts to bring in the personal side. All right, what's next? Hey, Bob, you're not going to believe this. That black and white plat that I sent, we just got an artist rendering of what it's going to look like. Now you can start to see it come in shape. Okay, maybe it was 10 days later. Maybe it was 2 weeks later. Now that map starts to kind of create emotion. Now I keep calling you guys Bob. That's my role play guy. So now Bob gets this. Is Bob potentially going to show this to his family or to his people at his work, or he's going to start to share these things that have a little bit more meat to it, a little bit more emotion to it? And that's the idea. I want to keep raising Bob's excitement by empowering him with new assets and new information. So now we got this colored site plan that we didn't have when Bob first started talking to us. Let's take it, let's keep going down the line. You know what? There's a lot of topo on this site, Bob. We've got this new angle. I actually stole it from the engineer. They didn't even know I grabbed it. I scanned it. I sent it to you. Now you can kind of see how these lots, how this road, and how this topo impacts your ultimate home and your ultimate view. Do you see what's going on now? Black and white, a little color, a little topo. I'm building emotion because remember, nothing's done. There's nothing to see except woods. The story is still being developed by the developer. I don't have a lot of details. I don't know when. I don't know how much. I don't have those details. But what am I doing? I'm layering excitement out there. Okay. And ideally, as this is happening, as I'm dripping this stuff out, one person is interested, then two, then maybe three. And if I have a partner, maybe she's got one or two or three. And now we got 6 people casually interested. Do you see what's happening? No one's being asked to buy anything. No one's being asked to have non-refundable money. They're just going for a ride. Okay. This is my whisper campaign ride, but I'm rewarding people by the order of selection of who got in early enough to engage with us. So when that day comes, the end of the cul-de-sac, you get first pick. That oversized big lot, you get first pick. That one that the developer screwed up and it's $50,000 less than the other ones. I don't even know what they're thinking. You get first pick. That's the value and the reward for being involved early. Let's keep going. So I send Bob this. Now he can start to see dimension. What else can I do? Remember, part of this pre-selling is vision selling. I got to use my words and assets to tell the story of something that's not there. That's the critical part about this. That's the hard part about this. The good news is technology now allows us to do wild things. So now, hey, Bob, check your email. I just sent you a video. This is a video, high def, topoed up of actual homes laid out where the site's going to be. What's Bob going to say? Holy moly. I remember when this project was just that black and white site plan. Dude, this is awesome. John, send this to my buddy. You see what's going on. It's getting layered. I'm using assets. I'm using technology. Now, if you look at this, compared to that black and white site plan that we started with, I still don't have a lot of detail. More is being told to me by the developer. More approvals are coming in. More timelines are coming in. Everything is starting to happen. Now, Bob, if he was lucky back in the black and white site plan days, and he did a $250 deposit, or reservation, this thing is starting to come together. It's starting to look pretty sexy. Bob holds first pick, or Ted owns second pick. Don't you think that's exciting? Can you imagine if our financial manager called us up and said, hey, John, I've got this new thing NVIDIA's doing. You can get on a list if you want. They're going to sell out, but you'll be first pick. Like, I don't even know what he's talking about. I don't know what the new thing is yet, but I've reserved my place in line. That's exciting to me. That's what this is about. Okay. Now let's keep going. I can take it a next step further and add some drama to it. Now we got a riser off the lake. Now we've got a first rendition of the clubhouse and where it's going to be sitting. All this is starting to get layered. In other words, if I've got this clubhouse layout, I've got a clubhouse floor plan now. I've got a clubhouse room. I've got all this stuff. And remember, we're doing one of two things. We hadn't even talked about price yet. It's about what could be emotionally. I mean, right? What could be emotionally? Now, all of us have hobbies and pursuits, whether it's golf or painting or whatever. But when something captures your heart, you almost throw financial logic out the window. Yes, you have to be able to afford it. Yes, you have to get a loan. Yes, I know all that. But if I connect emotionally, you better get out of my way. If I want something, I'll make it happen. I mean, I got to borrow money from my parents. If I got to go get a loan, I will make it happen. So if we don't pay attention to building emotional what your life could be like, you lost them. If all you're doing is sending out a price sheet, good luck with that. This is what actually motivates people. And if you remember our thing, our lineup, where was it? Let me go back. Our lineup at the end, right before execution, emotion is needed. Okay. So that's what all these assets are doing for me, is building emotion. All right. More information. Now I start to get into what could be on a particular home site. So now I start to distribute assets that are honing in on that lot, not just the big picture, but that lot. I don't have pricing yet, but I've got that lot or that home. So now I start dripping information about what that house will look like on the back of home site number 53. Look, the technology is there. Say you have a mountainous property, it doesn't even matter, coastal property. Let's create assets and renderings that create emotion by leaning into the environmental elements of that setting. Okay. So here you go. 53, I can see how the house is going to be set up on the road. I can see how the topo drops. I can even look off to the right and see how dramatic my views are going to be. Okay. So I'm filling things in. We go even one step further. We render the view behind the house of what that's going to look like. So if you look at the bottom right, two pictures, we can even render the topo of what the view out the back of these homes are going to look like. Now let's go back to Bob. Okay. Bob started 3 months ago with us. We've now communicated, maybe it's once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month, sometimes by phone, sometimes by email. We started with a black and white plan. Through my discussions, we've kind of identified 53 as an exciting property. I don't really know much about it. It's kind of in the middle of the woods, but I just got some renderings, Bob. You are going to flip out. Now, Bob, he doesn't even know what it's going to cost. He doesn't know when he could start building. He doesn't even know yet when he could close on this property, because I don't know that yet. But I've got Bob now, and he is a raging fan. A raging fan. Let me show you one other thing we can do here. So you've got these views that you can literally put the camera on your home site, look at the view. We can take it one step further. Everybody knows what a Matterport is. We do Matterports on our rendering. So here's the back of that lot. I can turn and move left, go right. I can put a pool. I can see what my view is going to look like. Full animations of looking down off that lot, that home site, down onto Norris Lake. I mean, you don't think that gets exciting? Oh, by the way, I can even say what it looks like at different times of the day. There's your sunset. Okay. The alternative to this is to send out a black and white site plan or plat map, send out a price sheet with your phone number at the bottom that says, call me when you're interested. Okay. We can either create pent-up demand by dripping out assets and detail to them along the way. As we are learning those things, now the developer can come to the sales team and say, what's the demand look like, guys? You think I should go ahead and pave that road? Should we go ahead and get that CO? Should we go ahead and get our approvals and bring this to market? I could say, shoot, I mean, I got 55 Bobs. Yeah, it's time. Let's go. Or you know what? The market's not really digging this. We might need to do something different. All those are ways to gauge where you are. Make sense? Key points to remember: excitement transfers. So if you're excited, I promise you the other person. Let me stop right there. You know, we have something called the six top traits of our successful people. And that means no matter where they are in the country, what are the shared traits of the salespeople that kick butt year after year? Number one is excitement. I mean, I'll have a brand new salesperson come in and be top salesperson. They lack experience, but they have excitement. That alone right there wins the battle. Key points to remember: fully understand the program benefits to your customer. So you need, as a salesperson and a sales team, you really need to understand the program and the benefits. Get comfortable with vision selling. Get comfortable with getting dusty and dirty. Don't overqualify at this point. Seek engagement. Seek experience. Bob, I know it's early, but come on out. We'll bounce around in the four-wheeler. Or we'll go take a boat ride. Who knows if you're going to like it, but let's go do that. Look for those engagements. Okay. Identify your best buys. Always provide insider information. Like, I don't know what the developer was thinking when they priced this one. Like, I walked the property. I saw this. They missed this one, Bob. This is my favorite. I mean, it's got a 100-year-old live oak tree on it. It's 10 feet larger, and they priced it $25,000 less than the neighbors. No brainer to me. They screwed up on that one, and I found it. That's insider information. Work with teammates to organize selections around complete release so there's not chaos on game day. Don't worry about that one right now. That's a little next level. Get people to attend. I don't care if they're A, B's, and C's. Get them to show up. It doesn't matter if you have an open house day, if you have a grand opening, if you have a muddy boots tour. Doesn't matter. Get as many people to attend as possible. Stop overqualifying people in the dating stage. Stop. I mean, are all of us so busy, so covered up that we have to qualify people before you'll spend time with them? I can't wait for those days to return. I mean, if that's what you're dealing with, I understand that. Hire an assistant. Until then, stop prejudging people. How many times have people that we didn't think were going to buy anything, 3 days later or 4 days later with our time spent, they end up buying something from you? Like, give people a chance. And the other thing to remember about overqualifying people is I don't necessarily like salespeople. I mean, in the first chapter of my relationship, am I going to tell you the truth? Am I going to be completely transparent about our wants, desires, affordabilities, et cetera? Of course not. I'm going to be guarded. So stop overqualifying people. Give everybody the chance and the respect they deserve to hear your story. Okay. And don't forget brokers. How do you get them involved? And they should have a completely separate campaign going on. If they're important in your marketplace, they should have a complete separate campaign specific to verbiage and language that impacts them. Okay. And you can't have that language mixed in with customer language. Two different worlds, but don't forget them. Let's keep going. Presenting the one-of-a-kind element. We don't have to go through this, but we have this chart right here. What's the benefit? What's the pro and the con of being the first person to buy property in a neighborhood? And then all the way at the end, what's the pros and cons of being the last person to select? No matter where you are in the lifespan of your neighborhood, there should be some thought about the pros of being here today. You couldn't be here at a more perfect time because of. We're not going to go over this. I'm going to send this to you. You can call me and ask questions about it. Okay. Again, should be as easy as sign and drive. So if you're doing a reservation program, if you're doing a pre-sale program, if you're doing anything, have a frequently asked question sheet. Okay. You know the questions, so answer them. So we create a prior to reservation FAQ form. There's nothing better than making the program easy and highlighting how it's going to work through documentation. It's cagey and weird if it's not documented and it changes every time I talk to Bob. That's not what people want. So make it easy, script it out, get an FAQ, let people feel comfortable about engaging with you, okay? Now let's talk about homes. We don't have a whole lot of time left, 15 minutes. Let's talk about selling a spec home before completion. I'm going to go back to the beginning of my statement. Many people are worried about when you go live on the MLS as it relates to listing of a home, okay? And they're worried because of days on the market. Screw days on the market. I don't care. I'd rather that home be exposed to more people than fewer people. Here's the other thing about days on the market. There are so many MLS variations out there. Find out what yours is, because many of them you can list under construction, and then when it changes to active, the days get reset to 0. I'm not saying that that's the way it works in your territory or your MLS, but look into it. Also, many have proposed listings. Many have under construction designations. Many have new construction designations. and many have active. So find out how you can use all of that to your advantage, where it doesn't get to the first day of CO and it's, 500 days in the market. I think people and buyers agents and buyers are sophisticated to know their way through that. But with the MLS propagating to Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, they all do different squirrely things. So just be aware of that. But to me, I care about days on market less than anybody out there, I promise you. So if I fall in love with the home, the last thing I care about is days on market. Maybe it gives me a little leverage to make an offer. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. But too many people are so darn worried about DOM, days on market, that they're paralyzed to make a move. Don't be that person. Okay. Selling a spec home. We did it with the homes. We did it with the new community release. We're going to do it here. Is this the way we want to create emotion? You can't believe how many people out there list properties with this as the assets or put this on their MLS, on their social media. Okay. We can do better than that, guys. Yes, you do need technical drawings to interpret the floor plan or the dimensions or the size. Yes, that's important. But to build a motion of what could be, we got to be better than this. And this is what I see all the time. Okay. We now have the tools to do things like this super easy. Why wouldn't we? When we get into what's possible on the asset side, let me bring up one other thing. Something I hear a lot of, the true life renderings are getting so good it's scary. It does scare some builders. Why does that scare some builders? Because it creates accountability of the selections that are going to be done. For example, gutters, trim, materials may not have been decided from you by the builder yet, but yet this rendering comes out and someone says, "Oh, you put gutters on that." Oh, I didn't even think about that. The rendering artist did that. So we also have ways to mute the details. Watercolor, sketch, black and white. We can mute the details, but still give the architectural elements through different mechanisms in our rendering work. So don't be paralyzed or don't be fearful that a true life rendering is going to cause you to have some accountability down the road of somebody calling you out. There's other ways to handle that. Okay. You can see how true life they get. But again, our renderings or what's available now should be used in our presentation from a pre-selling standpoint. Look, a home like this, let's say this home is $4 million. This plan set from the architect probably cost between $10,000 and $25,000 or $30,000, maybe more. So a builder invested $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in this architectural plan set. Why wouldn't you invest $1,000 in these images? Like truly, it's a no-brainer. And now an interested buyer that's standing in front of a site being cleared or a home under framing with an iPad or a pitch book, you can stand there and say, "This is your front elevation. Here's your front side elevation. Check out how this pool lays out. Here's the rear elevation." Emotion, emotion, emotion. Okay. We also can turn those emotions into animations. So with social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, your website, there's so many ways to show that house as if it's there today. Don't ever get stuck around somebody that says, "We can't really show this until we take photographs." Those days are over. 2025, you won't believe what's possible. We also, for portfolio builders are what we defined as builders that have a set plan series that you can choose and put on a lot. So national builders, large regional builders, we do a lot of floor plan books, but we create these orbits to showcase the architectural elements of these homes. Super easy to do, and they're easy to put. The other thing about all these assets can be what's called embedded into your existing website. You don't need to do a new website. You don't need to call a web designer. This orbit or those images can literally be embedded in a frame box in your existing website. So, for me, like I always talk about, your website should not be a static website. Too many people build a website, forget about it, come back 2 years later. Screw that. Change your website quarterly. Okay. This is a great example of new content to easily throw into your website that can be embedded and in place in an instant. No need for programmers, no need for a new website, none of that. New assets embedded in, provide new content. The other thing that we can do to pre-sell your homes is what we call camera match. Like, to me, this is another absolute no-brainer. This is a luxury spec home. I think this is with Arthur Ruttenberg Homes up in Raleigh. But they were about to start. I don't know how much it was going to be, probably $2 or $3 million spec home. It was probably a tear down in an existing neighborhood by the look of this home site. But that's what the site looks like. Very easily, we can take that rendering we have and place it on the site. This home is not done, but wouldn't you think that a 4x8 on-site sign that had this image showing the actual lot, the actual interchange with the coming home would do wonders to get engagement? And how about this sign on your property with a QR code that led to some kind of call to action, whether it's a flyer or an orbit or renderings or a form they have to fill out? Isn't that a no-brainer? Oh, by the way, does any of this stuff involve, quote, going live on the MLS yet? No, it might, but you don't have to. There's so much you can do ahead of time. So much you can do to get emotional buy-in. Camera match again for neighborhood up on the property. Interior, same thing. I mean, interiors now are so easy to do. These are not photographs. These are interior renderings, right down to the color codes of the paint, to the material, actual material of the granite or the quartz used, with the design of the quartz, the appliance package. All of it is absolutely a no-brainer. How about this? Fly-through animations. I mean, can you imagine selling this home? It won't even be done 7 months from now, but you're having a conversation with somebody that's considering a luxury home that can literally fly through their home like this. You're cooking with gas before it's even done. Why not expose this home in the highest form before completion, before interest carry, before anything? Okay. Timelines, another great thing. Graphically have a timeline of how your home construction is going to come out. I mean, this is raw and rough. Don't even feed into it. But if I know plans drawn, site prep, foundation, framing, timing, flooring, cabinets, landscape, pool, move-in ready, as a sales agency, can I leverage that? Can I leverage, foundation? Okay, I'm going to plan a Muddy Boots tour. I'm going to do drone capture. Or how about this? In the middle of February, I got cabinets going in. So if I know that 2 months earlier, and I have a builder that's willing to allow personalization or changes, I can leverage, hey, Bob, these are the cabinets the builder selected. They're going in at the end of February. If we get you involved before he purchases it, which is the 1st of February, we have the ability to change color and maybe even some hardware. So again, I got urgency points based on development timelines. This timeline thing could be used for an individual home, or it could be used to influence urgency on a neighborhood also. Okay. Entrance comes in, roads paved, clubhouse starts, clubhouse done. All of that should be communicated and visibly, so your sales organization can use timeline moments in either construction or the development to do things that create urgency, right? Makes sense. Okay. So use timelines all the way through. All right. I'm going to add 2 more things and we're going to get ready to shut down because I got 5 minutes and I want to respect everybody's time. We got lucky enough on a project we were managing out west to get to have the HGTV home built there. So along with that, it's massively exposed. I want to say we had 15,000 walkthroughs in this home. And at the end, HGTV gives it away, whatever it was. Well, during one of the meetings, we said something And we said, you know what, this plan kind of looks like it's modern, but it has mountain, kind of traditional mountain elements, so we're kind of calling it mountain modern. Now, there was no such architectural term back then as mountain modern. Maybe someone used it, but it wasn't kind of termed out there. Next thing I know, after a meeting or two, I go on and see this HGTV, and they did an article called Top 5 Features of Modern Mountain Design. Now, here's what I'm getting at. It kind of had a little pizzazz to it. We were all kind of like, cool. So why not create an adjective that goes with your plan series or goes with your beautiful spec home that is a made up architectural element description? Mountain modern, modern craftsman, equestrian traditional, whatever it is, and then come up with 5 features of it. It's a little tip that makes your offering unique over all the other ones. Okay. So it takes a little brainstorming, it takes a little creative thought, but then lean into creating something that's so unique. I haven't even gone in this home, but when you say mountain modern, I immediately have images in my head of what it could be. So create something, make something up. It doesn't have to be approved by the Architectural Committee of America. It's a made up thing. Have fun with it. Create some vibe around what your architecture is. That's what this point is supposed to be. We even went so far after this thing came out, we went to the a local architect that one of our builders was using. We said, would you just help us kind of with a definition? We didn't even pay him. And he sent us a blending of modern elements like oxidized steel and concrete with more traditional Western components like log timbers, tin shed roofs, and barn wood. Boy, we leaned into that quote for 6 months. So do the same thing with you guys, wherever it is and whatever it is. Make up something that's more valuable. We always say the term, make the ordinary extraordinary. I don't care if you walk in a first-time home and you're in the secondary bedroom. Make that bedroom seem extraordinary. That's what this is about. Everything you do, even if you that have been in the business 20 years, 25 years, you look at that thing, it's like, it's just a 10 by 10 or a 12 by 12 secondary room. Not much going on in there. As a salesperson, find some way to make it extraordinary. That's what this is. What are we going to call our plan series? I don't know. Let's think about it. How about our Mountain Modern Plan Series? What's that mean? Let's do a little homework. Make it extraordinary. All right. I'm going to cut us off here because I don't want to shortchange this. The next 5 or 6 slides are ways for you to build urgency no matter what the stage of construction is. Okay? I'm going to send this to you. But basically, it could be a custom home not yet designed. It could be a plan series that's already has the plans and pricing, but it has not been started. It could be a home under construction, or it can be completed. We have opportunity, prerequisites, and ways to use it for each of these that I'm going to send you guys at the end of this. All right, let's stop it here because I will bastardize this part of it because it's so important if I rip through it. I want you guys to get this. So I'm going to send you all these slides. Look, here's the bottom line. Get out ahead of things. Stop being scared of days on the market. Stop being scared on the MLS of what people are going to think if you go too early. I would rather be too early than too late, especially in today's environment. It only takes a connection with one buyer to sell your home or sell that property. So we want to kiss as many frogs to find that prince. And we do it through assets and we do it through words and engagement earlier than later. That's what this whole thing's about. So I'm going to end there. It's 12 o'clock. I will send you this recording if you're on this call and we have your registration. I'll send you this recording and this slideshow. Please reach out to me if you didn't agree with something, if you have more questions on something, if you have a unique or specific, what do I do about this? Just reach out to us. The cool thing about our office is a couple things. We've got an entire department that just does social media management lead gen. They're great at it. I've got another in my office on this side. I've got an entire rendering department that does all our asset production. This is all they do. I've got another department that just does sales training, sales management, sales oversight. The bottom line is this is all we do. Like we don't do websites for smoothie companies. All we do is real estate and master plan and new construction. So, we get to see a lot of things that work. We get to see a lot of things that don't work. So we're very contemporary. We're in the trenches. And I think that you would agree that we apply as much of these things from here out into the field to make the biggest conversion impact for our clients. So again, thank you guys for coming on. We try to do these once a month. Cole is who pushes me in the side to get the next one out. I don't know what the next one's going to be about, but we'll make sure to invite everybody to it. Thank you guys for being on it. We appreciate it. Keep knocking it out and look forward to hearing from you in the future. See ya.